What are the marketing channels that you are using the most? Or
TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and WhatsApp. It didn't work.
How do you still manage to find these parts of the ecosystem? And maybe you can shed some light on what are you working on more now? What are you testing now?
I go to a restaurant every 10 days. I meet drivers every 10 days. I meet consumer every 10 days. So what I look for every single day is for attachment.
Where you use AI?
We have currently more than 150 machine learning models. There is no area of this company that doesn't use AI. It takes a picture, boom, and the menu is there in 2 seconds. Imagine how would you do that without artificial intelligence?
I don't know. I don't even know how you do it with artificial intelligence. So to continue, I really wonder, how would you describe the average client of iFood? Can you share something about the age, the average basket size, lifestyle, and who is the target client of yours whom you want to serve and you're serving?
Yeah, so this is easy. It's 100% of everything. No, I'm joking, but in the end, it is. I mean, because we serve 55 million clients, active clients annually. This means that if you believe that in some houses a person asks for everybody. So actually, we're not serving 55 million clients. We're serving 80, 85 million. That's our estimates here. So we serve the entire population that have the means to use this service. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, what's the average AOV? Actually, if it's AOV, it's average. So what's the AOV at iFood? Is 55 reais, which means $10. Very low AOV, which shows our capacity to operate in the low income AOVs. And this is like a very important thing. It gives us an asset in terms of competition that is quite important for us, very, very meaningful. So 55 reais, that's $10 AOV. Then we basically serve 40% of the orders through the 1P model and 60% of the orders through the 3P model. And that's one of the most interesting things about iFood. If you take a look in the companies around the country, around the globe, you will see them serving through the 1P like 99% of the orders. And you may say, but why do you do that, Diego? Because I give the option. I'm not here to retain someone in what I want. I give the option. And there are cities where iFood serves the customers that the city is very small. The client can just, the merchant can just get his cousin to do the deliveries for him. Or he and his wife work in the restaurant and he does the delivery. And because he does like only 10, 20 deliveries per day, he does. And then you may ask, okay, but the quality service is lower. Okay, the consumer decides that. The consumer gives this feedback. And therefore, the restaurant decides if he want to continue to do that or not. And just on this topic, again, you may say, okay, but the service is not as good. Anyway, Diego, the service is not good. All depends. We develop a technology where even though we were delivering through the marketplace, the consumer, for example, can have access to the map with the route and seeing the delivery, the rider coming and so on and so forth. So we developed the technology. So
even not for your riders, even for
not for my rider, exactly.
Wow.
So I closed the gap in terms of a user experience in the logistics versus the marketplace. So again, it comes back to the point that it's not my option. I have to respect the option. I don't impose my option here. Another thing is we have currently 350,000 restaurants in Brazil, around 350,000 drivers in the country as well. As I told you, we operate in 1,500 cities, and we are not expanding more because 150,000 cities, 5,000, 100, 500, I'm sorry, 1,500 cities means that I'm operating in 100% of the cities with more than 50,000 people. So we don't believe there is a market below 50,000
Right.
people in the way that Brazil
Yeah.
organizes itself. What else? Average frequency tending to 5 times a month. So it's already 4.5 and growing. And if you think about the marketplace, which is the business that originated iFood, this business is still growing around 30% a year. Logistics still growing more or less this, and the other verticals growing more than 50, a few ones 100% a year.
Those are amazing numbers, to be honest. And to operate on such a scale and still grow, it definitely takes a lot of knowledge, a lot of structure management skills and talent, and I don't know what. And again, I do believe that you guys are moving mountains and setting up a standard. And the fact that you're not satisfied with what you already have and want more
Yeah.
is truly inspiring. I know you guys are experimenting with different marketing channels. I know that the team is always exploring what else you can do, how else you can attract the customers. And you mentioned interesting things about WhatsApp in today's conversation. What are the marketing channels that you are using the most, or that you found for yourself that are working for iFood? What do you guys do with social medias like Instagrams and TikToks and different types of ads? How do you attract even more users to your platform?
Well, so first of all, uh, TikTok, Instagram, and and Facebook and WhatsApp are very common platforms in Brazil. So that's the first thing. So it's viral. What TikTok represents to US or to China is the same thing what represents to us in terms of the impact and how people are attached to that. We are very deep, we as Brazilians, on WhatsApp using more than Americans, for example. Uh, and in terms of Facebook and Instagram, we are close to the Americans. So this is just to say that it's a very important channel to communicate here. Uh, we tested through all the time all these platforms to make them channels to capture orders. It didn't work. I'm not telling it will not work. I'm just telling that until today it didn't work. We had the chance to visit China several times. I go there every single year. I meet the senior executives of ByteDance, the owner of TikTok, among other platforms in China. I talk to them, and reality is that even though there are signs that it may work, it's not clear that will work. Let's not make a confusion here. You can make it work if you offer $100 million of promotions. Of course, it will work. That's not how you measure if something will work. You can bring traction using money. You cannot make something sustainable using money. So we test and try to understand, but we didn't see signs at this point in time. However, we are really paying attention on this. What we do today is two things. One thing is having these channels as a great channel to communicate and at the same time to make me understand the consumer. So we pay attention a lot on this. We have every year the most viral videos in TikTok. We are a success in Instagram. Our community in WhatsApp, it's like huge. So there are we pay a lot of attention. On the other side, we have a squad here called iFood Disrupt that basically tests every single day a new hypothesis on these platforms. So remember that I told you that the loyalty program was started in 18 and we failed miserably. And only in the second semester of 2022, we nail it. So we're doing the same here. So when we're going to nail, I really don't know. What I know is that I will continue to test quick and dirty to find signs. And as soon as I find signs, I will scale this. In WhatsApp, it worked. It already represents 20% of my orders. 20% of my GMV come from WhatsApp. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's great. Restaurants sell more. I sell more. Drivers drive more. It's great. We found something like this. We looked for something like this in the world. We didn't find. Maybe it exists, but we didn't have touch. And the same that we did for WhatsApp, we're gonna keep doing for the other platforms.
Very cool. You come from the background of finance, and you came into iFood as a CFO. Which
Yes.
metrics do you track right now as a CEO on the daily, weekly, monthly basis? What, because you must have a mindset that is very structural, numbers based. What are the most important numbers for you to track your growth and make sure that iFood is moving in the right direction?
The KPIs I track are the same that I track it as CFO. When I was appointed as CEO, many people that doesn't really understand iFood ask it, oh, what is changed in the company because the CFO is the CEO? That's a huge mistake. Huge mistake. If I didn't have the right mindset, if I didn't understand the culture of iFood and the management model of iFood, I would never be here, not even as a trainee person. I would never be here. So what I'm trying to say here, Stefan, is that we are at iFood and we try to make people understand that and develop their mindset in that sense to be ambidextrous, which means doing opposite things at the same time, knowing how to perform two very different things at the same time. So the Diego CEO, the Diego CFO, look at to innovation saying, I don't care about the business plan. Never show me business plan. I don't care about the NPV. I don't care about the IRR. If you are innovating, show me how the client loves your new value proposition. But do that in a very, very, very small scale, just to prove me. And if you're able to prove me that it's scalable, because I don't want to operate in niche. If you prove me that it's scalable, then let's talk about economics. That's how my mind and everybody's minds here should work to think about innovation. Of course, if you're talking about something that is already big, mature, you have to bring returns back home. Of course, you have to look to all the levers that in the end translates in returns. So as a CFO, that was always my mind. On top of being the CFO, I also was the strategy person. So I was able, again, to have two different views of the same thing and be able to balance. As CEO, there is one thing that really calls my attention on a daily basis. And this one thing is I call attachment. If you believe you have an ecosystem and believe you are taking decisions towards a direction that increases this concept of ecosystem, the attachment that exists in each point of contact in this ecosystem should be growing always, should be less and less be a consequence of money, but much more a consequence of alignment of interests. So that's what I pay attention. If the restaurant is using not only one, but two, three, four, five things that I do, this is attachment. If he's selling through different channels that I propose to him, this is attachment. If a consumer is not only using at his home, but also in his workplace, this is attachment. If the consumer is increasing frequency because he's discovering different things, this is attachment. If a doctor that is a consumer of iFood, but also prescribes to his patient something that he can find at iFood and he promotes iFood, this is attachment. So what I look for every single day is for attachment. Oh, you look one thing here, one thing there. You can. It makes sense if you are a conglomerate, not if you are an ecosystem. So that's what I'm looking for every single day.
And already driving so many processes and already having so many verticals, how do you still manage to find these parts of the ecosystem? And maybe you can shed some light on what are you working on more now? What are you testing now?
Well, I'm going to tell you how I do. And what I do, you can mimic to the entire company that at a certain point needs to find this answer. I go to a restaurant every 10 days. I meet drivers every 10 days. I meet consumer every 10 days. I meet my fellow colleagues here that do the same. I exchange with them. We create 100 hypotheses. We test quick and dirty, all of them. We learn a lot. And as a consequence of these answers, of these iterations, we decide what to do. So, Diego, what will you do in 12 months? I really don't know. I know what I'm already doing now, and it's going to be better and bigger in 12 months. But what I'm going to do, I really don't know. I'm learning. I'm learning every single 10 days from these stakeholders. So I put my position, Stefan, in a position of a student that, again, instead of trying to impose things, I bring the options to the table to the ones that are in the ecosystem. And this makes me, Stefan, use my proprietary technology, which includes AI here, to make these options feasible. That's how my mind works. I need to make that feasible for them. And that's how we here basically create our products throughout the time.
Fantastic. AI was mentioned several times today.
Yeah.
And it's definitely the big topic globally. And iFood is doing it since 2018. Can you share the examples of applications where you use AI?
Yeah, I can share more or less 800 applications.
Wow.
But
maybe you can share a couple of the most prominent that you're the most proud of.
Yeah, no, I'm mentioning this because Stefan, I mean, everybody's talking about this, and everybody try to put itself in a place that not necessarily the company it is. And I find it so funny because when you're doing something for years and years and years, and you have like you are deep on that, you can really. When I went to IMD, my strategy professor used it to tell that he would teach us how to have a nose to detect bullshit. So when you are profound in something, you really know when someone is not talking. So what I will tell is like several different examples in different dimensions to show how AI is a lever in the entire company.
Amazing.
But before telling the examples, let me just tell you one thing. Half of the company is made of engineers and data scientists. We started to build our data lake in 2018. This data lake today has 90% of the proprietary information of our systems, 100% treated in one unique language, clusterized in the same architecture since 19, and accessible by 100% of people that work here through the SQL. 70% of people here, 70%, including lawyers, marketeers, and etc., they know how to model through using SQL.
Wow.
So that's the base. So every time that somebody says, oh, I'm doing AI, the first thing I ask is, what's the percentage of information of your companies in your data lake? Because if it's not there, there's no power. How percentage of the people that access your data lake and know how to model in SQL? If it's not large enough, I'm sorry. I mean, you have a silo where people work with that. It's different. So the output, Stefan, of this is we have currently more than 150 machine learning models built by us, to us, using our assets. These 150 models are spread in every single area of this company. There is no area of this company that doesn't use AI. In 2021, we started our work with OpenAI and started to build the first agents, which is basically a wrapper where you get the model among other assets, and through that you build an application, and that application is capable to take decisions and operate something for you. So with that, I'm going to give you a few examples. A very cool one that I like, because solved the problem that we worked for years to find a solution and we never found it. It was, everybody knows that a restaurant with pictures convert more than restaurants without pictures, right?
For sure.
How do you make people take pictures? How do you send photographers in the country to take pictures? How do you trust that the picture made by a very humble person with an Android in his hand take a nice picture? It's very tough. So now we found a way, right? Now people take the picture, they don't need to be professional, and we treat that in our platform, and in a few seconds is there a picture with the right light, with the right angle. It's the same food, of course. And with that, we are increasing conversion tremendously. That's a very simple one. It's already in our platform.
But that's a super important one. That's like one of the most major ones for food delivery.
Super. So if you are a restaurant of iFood, every time that you enter there, you say, okay, I wanna upload the picture, and it's there. The second thing that you do, which is quite simple, is today the onboarding of a restaurant doesn't demand the owner or the manager typing the menu. He takes a picture, boom, and the menu is there in 2 seconds. So of course, the person can change if he wants to change. That's different. But there's no more typing for this. So that's one thing. I'm going to tell you the one that I love the most in the restaurant space, and then I'm going to give you other examples. The one that I love the most is an algorithm that we developed that basically, Stefan, tracks continuously the search people is doing but is not resulting in a result that makes sense for him. So imagine you live in a place and you say, okay, I want a specific kind of chocolate. No, not chocolate because it comes from an industry, but let's think about I don't know. I'm thinking about a cuisine that you eat. Tell me a plate that you like. Doesn't
I love so
matter.
many. I don't know. Let's say McDonald's.
McDonald's. Now, McDonald's is not a good one again because it's a big
Can we
chain.
use some
Let me
pizza place, some special pizza
Yeah,
place? I
let's go.
love
A
good
special pizza
pepperoni.
place, exactly, with a specific cheese. So there are people in this area searching for this, and he doesn't find. The algorithm, he tracks the entire traffic every single second. And at a certain point, there's a trigger where he says, "Oh, there's a demand that is clear for this kind of pizza with this kind of cheese, and nobody's offering." So in the end, people like Stefan in this area is not buying.
Mm.
So what the algorithm does, he gets what you're looking for. He understands the receipt. He understands the ingredients. He goes to the restaurants in the area, understand the menus, understand the receipt, understand the ingredients, and does the match. And then he goes to the restaurants and says, you guys have the ingredients to make this receipt, and there is demand for this. If you click here, we will insert this in your menu in this specific section because it makes sense. And I guarantee you want to sell at least X in the next weeks. Man,
Fascinating.
this is crazy. This is crazy. Imagine how would you do that without artificial intelligence?
I don't know. I don't even know how you do it
Impossible.
with artificial intelligence.
Impossible. Let me gonna give you two other examples, internal examples that I really enjoy as well. So let me take one in terms of management. So how companies traditionally does companies do tradition people evaluation. They basically do, for example, the 360 evaluation, right? So your boss, your peers, and people that work for you, they evaluate you. So who guarantee that these people really worked with you in this cycle? Because not necessarily the goals you have, the time you spent is the same that the ones that are evaluating you. So what we have here in our people department, we develop an algorithm that we call ONA, Organizational Network Analysis. Basically, this algorithm, it goes to our goals platform and understand exactly what Stefan is doing this cycle. What's his goals, where he should put his efforts, right? And then he goes to Slack, which is our communication platform. He goes to Google Suite, which we use here. He goes to Zoom, which we use here as well. He goes to GitHub, among other systems, and he understands all these interactions. And by the end of the cycle, he comes and say, regarding this, people that must evaluate Stefan are these ones here, and not necessarily these ones that we are traditional of think, because
Amazing.
these people are not working with him in this cycle, which is quite common. So think about it. Imagine how much of blind spots we correct and how more accurate we are when we evaluate people here internally. This is beautiful, beautiful.
Absolutely.
And finally, one final example. We have an AI assistant here for 2 years already. So on Slack, we have a person, which technically is an agent, that it's your AI assistant. And this AI assistant, he is basically a sum of the open AI models, the GTP models, plus the knowledge base that I have internally, plus my data lake. So if I'm Diego and Stefan says, Diego, I'm in Brazil, just had a problem with an order. I don't know what happened. Can you tell me? I say, yes, Stefan. What's your, I don't know, your telephone number? And you're going to tell me. So I'm going to type there, hi, I need the last order of this telephone number. And then there's an answer. Hi, Diego, how are you? So this order was made by Stefan in this restaurant. Okay, can you tell me if it was completed? No, it was not completed. Can you tell me why? Oh, the CX service still not have an answer for this. Okay, thanks. That's how we work here. That's how we work with the information that we have inside the company. So I'm proud to see that starting back in 2018, hiring hundreds of people, doing 2 acqui-hirings for all this time, making a big bet in our data lake, changing the culture because of the aspects, for example, of prompting that for us, it's not big news. Like we already started that for like 3-4 years ago. It's really paying off with some of the examples that I just telling you here.
What are your plans and strategies for 2025, 2026? Where do you want to get? How else can you even excel what you already have?
Well, we can excel in multiple ways. I'm going to tell you a few ones. So the loyalty program, which already have 6 million clients, will reach at least 20 million. And this will bring my frequency to a tremendous level. Second, the fintech space is being revolutionized by us, not the fintech space in general, the fintech space for restaurants.
Right.
It's being revolutionized by us. It's already been revolutionized by us. It's going to keep that. The credit book that we have here is strong, great ROE. It's performing very well. The payment system, it's going well. It's by far the leader in this market online, and now it's translating to be the leader in the offline space. So fintech, it's a big movement that we are doing here. It's already, the structure is already done. Now it's about growing. On the SaaS space, there is tremendous space to go beyond iFood 1P business, 1P and 3P business, the online space. So we will start to test that next year. So there's tremendous space to test and go farther than the 350 restaurants. Brazil has 1.2 million restaurants. So that's the gap that I have.
Wow. A lot of work ahead.
It is a lot of work. And with this ecosystem in mind, actually what I expect is to bring part of this restaurants in the offline space that is not in the online to the online in a few months. And finally, the other verticals with the level of retention and frequency that we are reaching in the other verticals, we may accelerate tremendously this verticals. And the sum of these movements here, it will be responsible to bring us to, I don't know, reach at least 3 times what we are today.
Diego, it's fantastic. The numbers that you're sharing, the examples that you brought today, it's just fascinating. It's super inspiring. I learned a lot today, and I'm sure that our listeners learned a lot as well. Thank you very much. If you have something that you want to share with our listeners as a closing, welcome. And thank you very much again for joining the conversation today.
Stefan, to share a final remark here, Brazil is not on the radar of people who study, develop, and learn technology. People must come and see what companies like iFood, Mercado Livre, Nubank, among other ones, are doing. Back in 2014, when I was at IMD, I learned that the main power of proprietary technology was the fact that in the digital technology space, people can do that, and they don't need the money, the capex, to build huge infrastructures, to build a car, right? To build a television. Actually, a guy, a girl, clever, with the right mindset, knowing how to code, can develop that everywhere. And that's the space we're looking for here in Brazil. And people must come and see much more what we are doing here. We are building world class companies, and many people really doesn't know what does that mean coming from Brazil.
For sure. And the more I hear, the more I want to come. And I hope that next time we meet with you is going to be offline in Brazil. And I'm very looking forward to it. Diego, it was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate. Bye bye, Stefan.